Well folks, Smackdown came to us last night from Seattle, and overall it wasn't a bad show. It was entertaining, I think is the best way to describe it. We opened the show with Smackdown general manager Nick Aldis coming down, and he called out Orton for RKOing him last week. Now with this, it was actually very interesting to see, because Aldis, when Orton was coming down to the ring and he made his way inside, Aldis was kind of like stalking him, just watching him go, and who knows? We may be seeing these two at WrestleMania, because Orton actually suggested it. But it actually went a little bit further than that, when Orton actually said that he paid the fine for RKOing Aldis last year. If you can cast your minds back, Orton actually RKO'd Aldis and he paid a $100,000 fine. When Aldis went, "This is too much," he went, "No, that's for the next time." So that was actually really cool to see. But overall though, the opening segment wasn't too bad. But obviously we then had the interruption from Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. Obviously they came down and they were like, "You're in the past. We're going to take LA Knight and make him in the past when Jacob wins the US title." It kind of makes you think that they are going that way towards WrestleMania, that Orton may get involved with that, but who knows. Obviously, Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa, they took out Orton in a little 2-on-1 until LA Knight came out and cleared the ring with Orton. It was a good opening segment, and obviously with these two now next to each other, LA Knight was like, "I haven't had enough. Have you had enough?" But then he suggested to Nick Aldis, "Why don't you make it Randy Orton, LA Knight against Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga?" And that's exactly what he did. Overall, it was actually a good little segment to open the show with. Then we actually went into something which I actually think probably was the best 30 to 40 minutes of the entire show. It was the Tag Team Championship Gauntlet match. Whichever team won the Gauntlet match, they would go on to WrestleMania and face Raquel and Liv. And it was an absolute brilliant Gauntlet match. It was absolutely amazing. First, we actually had Bayley and Lyra Valkyria come out, because it opened up with PFC, Shayna Baszler, and again, this match, it seemed a little bit more of the technical side of wrestling. Obviously, you do have Shayna Baszler for the MMA background and judo. She knows the proper chain wrestling going into it. And they got out, they were out in about 5 or so minutes. Next, we actually had Natalya Hart and Maxine Dupree come out, and this was actually a very entertaining spot. This match was actually a bit better than the first Gauntlet match, but I think this is because, for some unknown reason, these 4 girls, they just had the chemistry. They were going in, they were going out, and it was absolutely amazing of how they were doing it. And this was just very easily done by Bayley, because she got the roll-up for the surprise 3 count, and I think in about 2 or 3 minutes. They actually went a little bit less than the PFC. After Bayley and Lyra got the win on Natalie and Maxine Dupree, obviously Chance and Carter came on out, and again this was another great little match. And this just shows that Bayley, whatever match she's in, she always elevates it, same as Lyra Valkyria. And to be honest with you, Chance and Carter, this was probably the best match of the entire Gauntlet section over everyone else. We got a couple of close 2 counts, but Bayley and Lyra kept making the saves, which was great. And to be honest with you, coming into this, that this was now the 3rd team that Bayley and Lyra were facing, you either thought they were going to go to the very end and win it, or they would be the last but one. And to be honest with you, I was a little bit like, oh, they're building these two up a little bit too much just to get to the top and go, "Ha, gotcha, they're not going to go in." But they did. With this one, we actually got Lyra getting the win with a 3 count. We then had Michin and B-Fab come on out as the 5th team. Again, with this, it was absolutely spectacular to see. And remember, now this is the 4th team that Bayley and Lyra are facing. And you could see they were getting tired going into the later stages of this gauntlet. But again, no, that's what gauntlet matches are. And to be honest with you, they can be some of the best matches on an entire show. And this proved it, because all these girls did a fantastic job. We did get some good tag team action regarding these two now, And B-Fab got an early 2 count, but Bayley got the 3 count with a rose plant out of nowhere. It was great. Then the last team came on out. Accompanied by Chelsea Green, it was the Secret Service. Again, I was a little bit like, ooh, they're gonna bring these ones out now. It could be good for Bayley and Lyra, but with Piper, again, you know, Piper's a big girl and she is a phenomenal wrestler. And just seeing some of the moves that Lyra and Bayley were trying to pull off in the earlier matches, it's not really going to work in this one. But overall, it was actually a really, really fun looking match. We did have Bayley getting taken outside by the Secret Service and then double teamed in the ring. Bayley and Lyra, they were just getting manhandled. And it did seem that Chelsea Green and the Secret Service were going to go on to Mania for the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Bayley actually had the strength to kick out of a couple of close 2 counts, but she was just kept down until she pulled off a double DDT, which was absolutely brilliant to see. She got the she got the hot tag as Lyra got in and she tried to take them both out with a fisherman suplex, but on Piper it didn't work. The one thing that I actually really enjoyed with this, Piper threw her into the corner, she tried jumping onto her, but Lyra did a powerbomb off the top rope with her and it just looked great. Bayley hit a flying elbow only for a 2 count though. And then Bayley got the hot tag in, they double teamed them and they got the win, which is absolutely brilliant to see. So going forward now, we do know that it's going to be Lyra Valkyria, Bayley against Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez at WrestleMania 41 for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Overall for this one, no, my match rating, it's definitely a 4.8 out of 5. It was incredible. After this, we actually got quite a few confirmations regarding WrestleMania and what matches are where. Damian Priest against McIntyre, obviously, been going back and forth now for nearly a year, well actually over a year, yeah, since WrestleMania XL. And it was confirmed that their match is going to be a Sin City street fight, which I am looking forward to so much. I think this could possibly be one of the matches of the entire weekend, I really do. But Priest made his way out to the ring only to get jumped by Drew McIntyre and he got taken out with the LED screens on the ring barrier. McIntyre then got in the ring and he just said about Priest, he's a parasite, he's been feeding off him for the last year. Every single chance he's got, he's taken it. Someone else is beating me up, he gets the win. Someone else takes me out, he comes in and says, ha, look what I've done. And then, obviously, out of it all, because Drew is looking like Snake Plissken at the moment, he said, I got some news for you all. And he ripped off the eye patch and said, I'm 100% cleared. And now I got double vision. So it's going to be good to see how their fight goes. Then Priest made his way back out. And obviously these two just started brawling all over the place. It was actually a really good little segment. And it ended with Drew McIntyre doing a Future Shock DDT on Priest onto the steel steps. And obviously then we had the security and the back room staff just grabbing each other and taking him away. And as you can see by this image below, you actually got Jamie Noble just smiling there like, yeah, this is great. Which I actually like this photo a lot from the actual website. But overall, I think this is going to be one of the matches of the entire weekend because it's been built up for so long. Seeing how Drew McIntyre has been with not being in the main event and not going for the title, it's going to be a pretty good one for them to be like, no, we deserve that spot. We should have been in the main event title race. And they're just going to go out there and show the world we are the best, which I think is going to happen. Next up was our second match of the evening, really, if you think about it. Not a gauntlet match, but it was Rey Fenix against Berto. And from the get-go, we knew this was going to be a fast-paced with a lot of high-flying spots, and that's exactly what we got. We did get some great moves at the start from Berto, with a flying corkscrew over the top rope, which was just absolutely incredible to look at. But obviously, we got Rey Fenix, folks, and Rey Fenix was absolutely just mesmerizing in this match. His second match of WWE, which was just great to see. We then actually had Phoenix do a missile dropkick, which just looked like it would knock anyone's head off. But then he did a flying corkscrew headbutt as well from the top rope just to get a 2 count. After this, there was some more incredibly high-risk moves. We had a number of counters as well between the two, Obviously, there was the Goodbye Amigo kick from Phoenix onto Berto, but Berto even did his own version of it as well, which looked fantastic. But then Phoenix got the Mexican Muscle Buster for the win, and it was interesting at the end because Berto was just like, yeah, okay, you know, he wasn't going to say, you know, congratulations or whatever to Phoenix, but Angel and Santos did. And Santos was like, this is it, this is how you do it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they try and get Rey Fenix to join up with them, which if it does happen, it would be good. But overall, though, for this, the match rating is 4.4 out of 5. It was incredible. Before we actually went into Chelsea Green against Zelina Vega, we actually had something which it was nice to see. We had a promo package of Paul Heyman and CM Punk, and it dates back literally over a decade ago. It was just fantastic to see. And seeing all these old memories come back as well to the front, and seeing how so many people who watches wrestling now, some of the younger generation, they weren't alive back then to see all of that. So now they're seeing things come in on just how close Punk and Heyman are. Obviously, that's where the phrase was coined. I'm a Paul Heyman guy, and it was on the t-shirts that Punk was wearing. But overall, though, it was a great promo package, and I'm not too sure of this, but it does feel like they're planting the seed for WrestleMania for Heyman to screw over Punk for Rollins. I don't know why, but that's in the back of my head. But going into the next match, we did have Zelina Vega taking on Chelsea Green. Now, it wasn't actually for the belt, but this one, it was over pretty quickly, kind of sadly as well, though. Because what it was, these two started out, they went out to the side of the ring, they had a little bit of a battle, and Chelsea picked up Zelina, threw on the announce table, and threw her back in the ring. But this is the part I actually find kind of funny. On the announcers, Wade Barrett, he just looked at Chelsea Green, he said something, and she just turned around and she started shouting at him. Then the match was over because she got counted out. Which, I can see why they're doing it. They're trying to build up the championship match between Chelsea Green and Zelina. And if that doesn't happen next Saturday at WrestleMania, it's going to be a little bit of a, why build this up? You know? But maybe they wanted something special for next week's Smackdown. Who knows? A day before WrestleMania. It could go either way. Before this, because the match was over so quickly, sadly, the rating is going to be a 3 out of 5. Then the next segment was Cody Rhodes. And with this is an interesting one. As you can see by here in the photo, Rhodes came out and we've had each championship lined up, which goes from the 70s to the 80s. We got the Winged Eagle, we got the Attitude Era, we've got the Ruthless Aggression Spinner Belt. We also got the Ruthless Aggression Belt that Brock Lesnar and Eddie Guerrero wore, and it was just great to see all these belts lined up. And out of them, I really wish they would go back to the Winged Eagle, because as you can see out of these belts by here, that one, just behind Cody, is the best looking belt there. Absolutely stunning. Brody ran through the list of people who have each held all these belts. Obviously, there were some people that he couldn't do, but then he said that this belt symbolizes the best in the world and the best in the business when they hold that championship. And he went through about, obviously, what John Cena said last week with a tattoo on his neck. You're nothing more, just a common fan. And he's like, well, yeah, I am a fan. But these means I'm the best in the world. I'm the best in the business. I am the one who is carrying this on my shoulders. This promo was absolute fire by Cody, and it brought up a few things regarding John Cena, obviously, with the spinner belt. He went through him, and he landed on the spinner. He spun it, and he went, John Cena says he hates this title, but this title shows that there was a champion for 10 years. And this is the guy who carried everything through the good times and the bad times. It was actually a really good promo, and I am just so stoked to see these two in the main event on Sunday, because it's going to be incredible. Next up was actually a very little quick kind of match, but we actually had women's champion Tiffany Stratton taking on NXT Roxanne Perez. It won the bad fight and the bad match, but it started with these two just shoving each other. Perez played dirty because she got an eye rake in when the ref's back was turned. But overall, though, it just didn't seem to fit for the evening, if that makes any sense. and it was pretty mild and bland, I think is the best word to describe, which is kind of sad because Stratton has been having great matches over the last couple of months. But obviously, Stratton got the win, but then, out of nowhere, Flair did come out and attack Stratton, which was actually better than the actual match we just saw as well, which kind of sucks. But you would expect it though. Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton at Mania, it's just building up now to an even more, a more fierce level. I think it's probably going to be the best word to describe these two, because last week when they both went off script, supposedly backstage, people are not happy with Charlotte Flair because of the way she did it and the way that she was personally attacking Stratton. That's why Stratton came back with, "You'll never live up to your dad." You know, which is kind of interesting. But overall though, match rating 3 out of 5. Our final match of the evening was the tag team of Randy Orton, LA Knight against Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. This was an entertaining match. It went back and forth, but obviously it started out with LA Knight getting dominated by Tama and Solo in their corner. After a while, Knight did get the tag in and Orton got in and he just started clearing house. He took out both of them first with the running power slam, but then Orton, he went out of the ring and he came back in and he got a dreaming DDT on Solo. He tried doing it to Tama, but it didn't actually go his way. But then Orton went down for an RKO and we're like 3 minutes into the match, which was actually pretty fast paced for it. But Randy Orton got up and he got Samoan drop instead by Solo. Solo did take control of the match and he worked his back before we got the hot tag into LA Knight. Knight came in, took him out and got the 2 count, but then Solo jumped up and he Samoan spiked him and that was it. Knight was down for the count. Orton came in and he took out Tonga with the RKO. He then went to fought Solo through the crowd, so you kind of knew where this was going to go. So Orton, Solo in the crowd, nowhere to be around. But with this, Tama thought, oh, Knight's been spiked, let's get down and get the 3 count. He went to do it, but he only got 2. Knight jumped back up after the 2 count and he actually got the BFT on Tama and he got the 3 count for the win. Like I said, it was a short match, but overall though, it was really entertaining. Again, when you got people like these, the veterans who are in there, who've been doing this for a long time, they're always going to put on a quality match. For me, this match rating was 4 out of 5, but as we knew with this, Knight celebrating, who came and attacked him from behind? Jacob Fatu. Now, he took him out with so many slams, the hip attacks in the corner, and he also landed 3 of his moonsaults on him, which is actually pretty interesting to see as well. But with this, it actually ended with Fatu grabbing the belt, kind of raising it up a little bit overnight, but then dropping it, then going for another moonsault. I'm actually really looking forward now to their match at WrestleMania, because you don't know how it's going to go. But with this match, with the way Solo and Orton were fighting and bickering, we could be seeing these two, or even Orton, taking on Tama and Solo, 2-on-1. Hell, we could even get Nick Aldis joining forces with Orton for a tag team match. Again, that would be kind of wasting Tama, Solo, and Orton to be in a tag match, but overall though, it could be a great addition to WrestleMania weekend. Overall, SmackDown was a good show. There was some aspects of the show that made it go slower than the previous 2 weeks, which it was almost like Road Dogg saw how slow the other shows are going, and he's like, right, we'll cut this, no filler here, and we'll just go. This one just seemed to be a lot of promo and a lot of advertising going into WrestleMania. Overall though, for me, the show rating is 7.5 out of 10. Not as good as the last few weeks, but overall though, it was an entertaining show. Let us know what you thought about this down below, folks. Are you looking forward to WrestleMania 41? What do you think is going to be the outcomes? Are we going to see Randy Orton there? Who knows? But guys, like and subscribe if you are new. Let us know down below, and I'll see you soon.